Good afternoon, I hope everyone's well today. Thank you for watching. I seen what looked to me like a attempted hatchet job on Restore Britain and Charlie Downs on GB News this morning. I'm going to get into the clip in a moment or so. Now, the host that did it is called Nana Akua. She's of Ghanaian descent and she's from Newcastle. Now, personal aside, I think she's one of the stronger hosts on GB News. I really like her channel and she's really quite funny most of the time. But these hit pieces on Restore Britain are going to continue. They're looking close to hitting 100,000 members today, if they've not already done so. But we need to be unapologetic, and poor Charlie is put on the spot, and I think it's because they've not really formulated the policy. So this video is a bit of instruction to the higher-ups in Restore Britain. You need to be fearless, you need to be unapologetic, and you need to be very, very specific. Alright? So without further ado, I'm going to play the video. Thank you. So firstly in the clip they start talking about who can vote in our elections, such as Commonwealth citizens and whatnot. And then the actual more interesting bit is what follows, so stay tuned.
But if you can't speak English, then how can you mean
if you are allowed to, if you have a British, if you have a passport, if you're allowed to vote, if you meet the legal criteria for voting, that is your vote.
Well, maybe they could add that in there.
I mean, it should be noted actually that in this country, Commonwealth citizens are allowed to vote.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be allowed, that should be stopped. It's not reciprocal, so it should be stopped in my view.
And stand in elections. You believe it's foreign nationals are allowed to stand in elections?
And that's this an imperial hangover. I would be perfectly, no other country reciprocates that for Britain, by the way. I'd be very happy to abolish that rule to say that any British citizen should be able to vote in British elections.
So should you then, or maybe it should never get to the point of voting that you just simply do not get your citizenship until you have learned how to speak our language, and then that would never come up because you would then obviously have the language skills to be able to vote.
Well, Christo, I mean, when you become a UK citizen, you do have to pass a test, so presumably you need to speak English in order to pass that test.
How have
anyway.
we got so many people here who are able to vote who don't speak English?
Well, that is the Commonwealth issue, because it's foreign nationals from countries, countries like Bangladesh, for example, who come to the country, are not citizens but can vote, and therefore don't have to speak English.
That doesn't make any sense.
It's ridiculous. It's completely insane.
It's an imperial, it's a hangover of empire.
Well, the actual nub of the issue where Nana Akua tries to catch poor Charlie out is also an imperial hangover created with the British Nationality Act in 1948, which we're going to get to in a moment or two. But the gotcha is cheap, it's lazy, and to be fair, Restore Britain needs to be better with this. Now, my understanding is the policy isn't formulated yet, so we're sort of walking on eggshells, not wanting to say the wrong thing. But we need to be unapologetic.
Sounds extended. It doesn't. Well, I agree with you on that point. We don't need to. I'm very in favour of migration, as you know, but I don't think that we need to extend the franchise.
Integration is so important, and that is, all of this that we talk about. The reason we're getting so fractured is because of the fact that integration is just not happening.
Well, that's what happens when you import millions upon millions upon millions of people over a very short period of time. There's no incentive to assimilate to the wider culture because there's no need. There's millions of people like you, not like the native British already in the country speaking your language. So what happens is the British taxpayer and the British state end up subsidising your silos, and that needs to end.
We need to make sure it happens, and some of that is on the state. I think it's on the individual as well. You should go to a country and want to speak the language, want to integrate, but also the state needs to facilitate that.
But one of the things that encourages so many migrants from other ethnicities, like in Africa, for example, to come here is because we're so permissive. We don't insist on you integrating. In fact, there's some people in the government and the civil service that think it would be racist to get these cultures to integrate with the British culture. No, it should be standard procedure. If you're coming here, you integrate with the broader culture, otherwise you go home, or you pay for it yourself, or both.
What does integration even mean in 2026 when we're living in such a... I mean, that's pretty
The
basic.
vast majority of people speak English.
Well, sure, but what does integration even mean at this point? Because it hasn't worked. I mean, the project of like British values, like the idea that if you just believe in democracy and the rule of law, individual liberty and stuff, that makes you British. This has not worked. This has been the project of Blair and later Cameron, and Michael Gove as Education Secretary enshrined these principles in law in 2014, and still we are seeing an increasing ethno-religious balkanisation in our towns.
Charlie, you're the one who's advocated this organisation. You don't think that I'm English.
You're not English. You may have a British passport, but you're not English. Alright? This is the nuance of the debate that shouldn't be lost. He is a British citizen. I think that's Matthew Liss. His parents are Polish, so they don't trace ancestry back to pre-1948. So no, you're not English. You are British. You hold a British passport. More power to you. That's fine. But you're not English.
Even though I've lived in this, I was born in England, I've lived here my whole life, but because I'm Jewish, because comes from an Eastern European Ashkenazi Jewish background, you don't think I'm English. Now that, for me, is advocating in that political respect for the classification of
Can I
people.
ask you, do you think I'm English?
Now Charlie stumbles here. It is quite cringe. But you're not English, Aqua. Nana. You're not English. Nana Aqua. You're British. You're a holdover from Empire, meaning that you were granted citizenship because of your Ghanaian parents who came over. So you're not English, and that's neither a good or a bad thing. Alright? You are British. You fall into the Zia Yusuf or Suella Braverman camp. You're British. You're not English because you cannot trace your ancestry in the United Kingdom pre-1948. Okay, this isn't about race.
Look, let's put that to one side for the minute, because we're going to go down a rabbit hole if we start talking about this sort of thing. And we don't...
This is where he panics. He says we don't want to go down a rabbit hole. I think it's because he hasn't formulated policy on it yet with Restore Britain. So he doesn't want to say something that he has to backpedal at a later date, so he's playing for time. Now, Nana, being on Reform UK News, GB News, holds his feet to the fire, and she's like, no, you will answer me.
don't have time to give it the detail that it deserves. Okay? So if we could just stay at this point.
Can I just stop you there? I know exactly how much time we've got.
Yeah.
There's no breaks in this hour. We've got time.
Right, okay, well listen, if you want to go down this route, then I'm happy to do so, because
No,
it
it's
is
not.
it
It's
is
just a question.
but it is an important issue about what it means to be British.
What does it mean
means
to be British then?
There we go. They get into the weeds there of using English and British interchangeably, and that's the distinction we always need to make. Many people can get a British passport. Many people of other ethnicities, not of these islands, can attain British citizenship as well. That's one thing. Like her parents that came over from Ghana, they got British citizenship and they had their baby here, Nana Aquia. She's a British citizen, of course, she has the same rights as everybody else. I'm not arguing that point, and I don't think Restore Britain is arguing that point. What I would assert and what I would attest is if you cannot trace your lineage pre-1948, when our government gave away what it is to be English or British, essentially, to the Commonwealth, the former empire, without a democratic vote or say from the population, they took something that wasn't theirs to take. And I think that this is the line that Restore Britain should be using. Ground it in law, ground it in citizenship, ground it in ancestry, ground it on democracy. We were never asked. Just like the EU, we were never asked. Ground it that way.
Well, look, I mean, we have made it very clear, Restore Britain have made it very clear that our position is that Britishness is not just defined by having a British passport. It is not just defined by believing in a set of abstract corporate-style values like democracy and the rule of law.
Or is it defined?
Well, let me finish. So the position...
Again, Charlie, I'm going to help you out here, mate, as a Restore Britain member. Always hold the line. If you can trace your ancestry pre-1948 through either of your parents or grandparents, then you are British. If you can, or sorry, English, Welsh, Scots or Irish under the British umbrella. If you can do that, then you should have the same rights as me. alright? And that's what it should be about. If you came over as a colonial import post-British Empire, you will never be English because you are a British Empire subject, essentially, being afforded status in the mainland. That's exactly what it comes down to. And again, there's no bad thing here. There's no good thing here. I'm just stating facts. This should be obvious. This should be clear to everybody and all.
Defined by not what it is.
The position of every mainstream party, from Reform UK right the way through to the Greens, is that Britishness is defined by having a passport or believing in democracy, right? In our view, that is an absolutely ridiculous definition, because Britain and the constituent nations that make this country up, England, Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland, are ancient peoples. These are ancient nations that have existed continuously for over 1,000 years.
Yeah.
And so there is a difference. So there is a difference.
So am I British?
There is a...
Again, she flip-flops from English to British to try and muddy the waters and confuse things. Nana, sweetheart, dear, darling, you are British, alright? I would never argue that you're not British, alright? You're not English. Even if you're from Newcastle, you're not. Because you fail the ancestry test of being a generation. Do you have a generation above you, pre-1948, that was in England? And the answer that you would answer is no, you don't.
The difference between somebody...
I British.
No, I'm going to get...
Yes, you are.
I'm in Newcastle. I'm a Geordie. Am I British?
Well, look, you're born in Britain, you know, and all the rest of it. So in that sense, yes, you are British. So
again, she was born in Britain. Excuse me. She has assimilated. She is a model and example, her family, of how integration can and should work. She should stay. It's as simple as, I don't want to send her back to Ghana.
There
is obviously a spectrum, because there is the difference between somebody who has come here in the last 5 years and got themselves a passport, and somebody like me, whose family has been in this country literally for thousands of years.
Okay.
So there is a distinction. There was definitely a distinction.
There is a difference, and this is an important...
Have you heard of Cheddar Man?
Yes.
Cheddar Man, turns out that he may well have been black and was here.
Well, I think that's...
No. So it hasn't been fully. And apparently he was the first person in this country, and he was potentially black.
Again, she's making it about race. This is not about race. This is the thing they're gonna try and get you on. They're trying to make it about race. It is not about race. This is what people of colour do. And I'm disappointed in Nana. I'm disappointed that she's gone this route, because she's trying to do is to get a cheap laugh, and she's trying to go, you don't know what you're talking about. And I'm like, not really. Not really.
In fact, if it is true
Yeah.
that mankind came from Africa, then
Yeah.
you come from Africa.
Hundreds of thousands of years ago, okay, before nations or nation states or anything like that was a thing. So again, she's on a loser. She doesn't know what she's talking about here.
Well, I'm a
Well, if
Christian,
it's
so I
true-
believe that I think we all share a common ancestor.
Well,
and
you
it's
might
part of
believe that,
theology.
but science says otherwise, that mankind came from Africa. If you're going, how far back are you going? I'm going back to the beginning.
I'm going back to 1948. If you can trace your lineage to pre-1948 in the United Kingdom, in either Scotland, Ireland, Wales or England, then you should be a full British citizen.
For what?
Well, mankind.
For mankind?
Well, if they're saying the creation of mankind and mankind came from Africa,
Yeah.
then you're from Africa. Your heritage all the way further back.
Well, if the out of Africa theory is correct, then yes, but that doesn't that doesn't make me African now.
Well,
So we'll leave this here. It goes down a bit of a rabbit hole on it, and the whole point of it is to make Restore Britain look ridiculous from the Reform UK shills at GB News. So we're going to leave this here. So what do you think? Was this a botched hit piece on GB News against Restore Britain? I think it was, and more to the point, this is going to get more aggressive and more insidious as time goes on. GB News needs to do better in trying to be impartial, or at least trying to say we're not the cheerleaders for Reform UK. It's patently obvious in my view that that's the route that they've gone. Many of their hosts have been promised seats in the House of Commons or Lords as members of Parliament. So this is the thing, they're not impartial. What do you think? Do you think that this was a attempted hit piece on Restore Britain? Do you think it should be specifically on constitutional law, where our citizenship was essentially given to the Commonwealth to make them British in 1948, and that's what the test should be? Or do you think it is about skin colour? Because obviously that can be problematic on mainstream TV. As always, like and subscribe, comment, and I'll see you in the next video.